All right, red light is on Wednesday night. Another edition of Bet and Bananas. We went four-way again. It's not a pay-per-view week, but we just we can't. Rafael just keeps knocking on our door. We can't say no to the guy. So much content. UFC Vegas 60, a really, really cool, nice bantamweight main event. We have our girl, Fight Bananas family, Julian the Savage Robertson on the card. So very excited. But before we break down the cards, or maybe even kind of talk about UFC 279. Quick shout outs to all three of you guys. Elle Wagman, a fight coming up in 3-4 weeks. Undefeated, don't know how to lose. Make sure you follow our girl, Elle Wagman. Elle, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
Doing good. And then a diagonal to me, man, the Cornerman MMA, Ryan Quinn. Check out all of his content, especially on YouTube. Can't get enough of it. I love his stuff. Ryan, how are you doing, my man?
Thank you so much. I'm doing great, Dave. Happy to be here tonight. I know we got a lot to talk about, so it's always good.
And then underneath us, he's a good guy, but he does take a lot of our money. We're going to win it back, though, tonight. We're going to give you guys Julian the Savage Robertson under minus 150, 155. So we're going to give you money back. But, guys, Rafael Esparza, my man, my bookie, how are you?
Pretty good. I forgot to bring my Johnny Walker Blue. I was going to bring it onto the show with me because his victory made me a little coin. I actually had side bets with some other odds makers from other companies because they asked me who my underdog pick was. And I was really just saying that, I love just drinking scotch on Saturday when I'm watching fights and boxing and football and stuff like that. So I was going to root for Johnny Walker because I ran out of blue in my container. I needed a new bottle. So they're like, hey, I'll bet you one. So I'm like, hey, I won one. So he knocked him out. And what was on my doorstep? A nice bottle.
There you go. Our underdog hit Chris, Beast Boy or Huggy Bear, whatever you say, Barnett. Ryan Quinn's been nailing underdog plays. The whole weekend got squashed. I don't know who bet on who. I don't know what fight. We had Leach as a lock, but it was a lock against Tony, but now he was fighting D-Rod. It was crazy, and it was a busy weekend for everyone, so we just let it go. But, guys, just real quick ribbon bow on UFC 279. Were you guys impressed with Nate? Were you guys, did you guys feel like the Leach got robbed? Anything real quick, 15 seconds on UFC 279. Elle, you start.
Yeah, man, I just feel so bad for Lee. I think that he lost out on a great opportunity. I also I had D-Rod beating Kevin Holland, and I still think that would have happened, but I actually had Lee winning that fight. I know it was super close, but I just think the dude just had a rough weekend. Like, he got screwed 3-4 times, didn't get to wear a suit, poor dude. And I know I say this a lot, and I'm the biggest Nate hater around. But, I swear to God, anytime Nate Diaz is about to get exposed, there's always an asterisk. He's about to get smoked by Khamzat, which 100% would have happened. All of a sudden, he gets an old Tony Ferguson who's not looking great, up a weight class, where he's just not durable anymore and looks fantastic. So, of course, I'm happy for him. Glad to see him, finish out his UFC career with a nice big win, but also happy that I hopefully won't have to hear much about Nate Diaz after this.
No. Elle, a lot of what you said was very, very correct. I think we're going to hear a lot of Nate Diaz in the next 12, 14 months. I see a Jake Paul fight. I see a Connor Trilogy fight, a Mike Perry bare knuckle fight. We might hear a lot of Nate Diaz. But Ryan, real quick, 15 seconds, UFC 279.
All right. Did Nate Diaz look good? I'll put it this way. How would you feel if in the middle of my parlay pick, I just started doing this? So no, I don't think Nate Diaz looked good, but I was happy. I'm not one for gamesmanship, but with the crazy week they had and these two guys at the end of their career, everyone's just happy to see these two fight. I was like, have at it. I'm just going to sit back and enjoy this. I was happy Nate got his win. I think Tony should hang it up too real soon. I hope he gets a win on the way out. But I felt that Darian Weeks won. I felt that the Leach got robbed totally. And now I watched this from a new perspective, knowing the scoring, and I felt he was completely robbed too. The poor guy got shafted all week. So
he did.
There's your 15 seconds.
Rafael, how did the books do at UFC 279? Did it get all messed up with wonky with new fights? Did everyone bet Chimaev because he was a lot bigger? He's still a big favorite against Holla, but nowhere near where he was against Diaz. How did the books do?
I mean, they still bet him no matter who is he fighting. I think that people were going to bet on him. I mean, I felt bad for Lee too. We should put an asterisk on his loss, like they might have to do with Aaron Judge and Barry Bonds' home run race. They put an asterisk on it because I just felt totally bad for what he had to go. He had the world's worst weekend of any athlete that I can remember. I'm talking about any sport. This guy was just, I feel so, I wanted to give him a hug. I wanted to go through my TV and say, hey, man, I'm sorry, man. You get shafted. So I was talking to a whole bunch of odds makers, and we felt bad that we actually won on his fight, even though he lost. We're like, oh, we felt really bad. We're like, hey, what's his Venmo? Let's send it to him.
Hook that guy up.
Man, if people don't, he was in the co-main event after seeing both of them fight on the same day, and I know it wasn't against each other. He was going to win at the co-main event of a huge pay-per-view, and then he lost a featured fight that we all thought he won. Yeah, it was a horrible week for the Leech. I think the UFC will throw him a big bone on his next fight. That's my 2 cents. But we'll see.
Yeah, his attitude was fantastic. That's why I think they'll throw him a big bone because the way he handled it, I thought was brilliant.
Also, real quick, I'm sorry. I know we're 6 minutes into it. We haven't even mentioned Corey Sandhagen. Dana White Contender Series last night was phenomenal. Me and Elle were talking a lot on it. Are you guys doing good with Dana White Contender Series? I can't get enough of it as a fan. Are people betting on it, Rafael?
No, I mean, I hate to say this, but I mean, a lot of money came in at WNBA Finals Game 2 with the Aces at home. I came on that one. You had baseball. You had the Yankees and Red Sox. I'm sorry, even though the Red Sox are out of it, but anytime those two are on TV, you're always going to get stuff on that. And then, yeah, it was just bad timing for that on Tuesdays with that kind of a matchup and all that. We took action, but not as much as a normal Tuesday DWTS.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess we got to push it then. That's on me. Fight Bananas got to push it. I love the Contender Series, and I love anyone that got their Super Bowl bets in already for the Buffalo Bills. You're guaranteed winners. That's going to happen. Four months away from Josh Allen hosting the trophy. All right, we're moving on. Here we go. Elle Wagman, UFC Vegas 60, long card, 3 female fights on it. A really underrated co-main event. Should be fireworks in that co-main event. Hopefully we'll talk about that. But let's start. What is absolutely your best bet on the board of UFC Vegas 60?
So my best bet, I actually haven't had a chance to look at the prop odds yet because they're not up yet. But even if you play it in the over 2.5 rounds, my best bet is Bill Algeo. The dude is an absolute cardio machine. He's incredibly durable. He's looked great in his last few fights out. Obviously, he was very dominant over Herbert Burns. I don't think that Bill is necessarily a huge finisher. I think him finishing Herbert had a little bit more to do with Herbert because if he doesn't get you out of there in the first round, Herbert tends to fade pretty quickly. So I think that had more to do with him than it did with Bill. I definitely see Feely, being able to last. And I definitely think we'll see Bill get that decision win.
Okay. I like that. No complaints here. Ryan, the Cornerman Quinn, my man, what's your best bet on the board?
I'm going with Sarah McMahon over Aspen Ladd. The only thing that really scares me, even though she's getting up there in age, or she is up there in age, is quick strikers. Not good boxers or kickboxers. I'm talking quick strikers. Aspen Ladd is a striker, but she's a little bit slower. And I just feel like Sarah could weather that, get inside. She does have an Achilles heel with the grappling. I don't really see Aspen Ladd really threatening with grappling. And I hear this too. When I went to college the first time, I went for exercise science, and so I know a lot. And they talk about she does a lot of hiking and stuff like that. I feel that her slow twitch muscle takes over because of all the slow twitch exercises that she talks about doing. So I just feel that this is going to be a 15-minute mall session for Sarah McMahon.
Love
Rafael,
that.
This ain't no just normal bet show. We got best bet, both very close fights. We got guys going back to school talking about twitch muscles here on Betting Bananas. Come on, people. Rafael, have you heard any of those? Do you like any of those one more than the other?
Totally agree with the Sarah McMahon one. Totally agree with this one. I like the way how she beat. When Ladd lost to Pennington. Pennington went to the body, and she was suffering bad on it. Her cardio went down to the drain when she got kicked and punched in the body. Quick strikers I think that's a really, really good one. I'm not sold on Aspen Ladd anymore. I think she goes for the 3. I think she goes 0-3 in her last 3 fights and maybe looking for another job.
Wow. Bellator's Aspen Ladd coming soon to a theater near you.
I'd say Aspen's getting her Bellator papers instead of like her walking papers or pink slips, getting her Bellator papers.
Aspen, we're sorry. We don't mean that. We're big fans of you, Aspen.
Oh, well, okay. I'm sorry, Aspen. I mean like the fighters getting their Bellator papers. Listen, I'm someone who was in Bellator my whole career. I never got my UFC papers, so don't take it personally.
Say that. That's true. All right, let's go with underdog plays. We're nailing guys plus 200s, plus 300s on our underdog plays week after week. Elle Wagman, take it away. What's your best underdog play of UFC Vegas 60?
I kind of ruined it already, but I'll get into it a little bit more. I think it's Bill Algeo, man. I was really surprised to see him as big of an underdog as he is. And if you really want to add some value to that, I think adding the over 2.5 rounds is great. That gets you up to like plus 186, I think, is what it was last time I checked. Andre, I think I want to say he's 0-2 in his last two, and the chin is starting to go. He's taken that damage, and I just think that he's not only is he not as durable as he was, but the cardio also isn't quite there. He seems to start like he's starting to fade, and he used to really be a machine throughout those rounds 2 and 3. So that's still my underdog play.
No, I like it. Bill Algeo. We're turning into a Bill Algeo podcast. Ryan, what's your best underdog play? You're nailing it 2 weeks in a row. My daughters say thank you very much. Where are we going again? Let's win some more money. Christmas is coming
tough
soon.
This week. It was tough this week, but I'm going Homer. I'm going Rodrigo Nascimento against Tanner Boser. I just feel that Tanner had a little bit of a layoff. Actually, I had it up here. I think his last fight was June of last year. Yeah, June of last year. And then his losses, it was against Elvis St. Preux too. So, and his losses were tough. He just like Alir and Andre Arlovsky. And Rodrigo, I know he's training at the best gym in the world. He's staying fresh. He's got a reach advantage too on him, which I know he could use well in the grappling game. So I just really like his odds in this fight.
Yeah, I see it right now at plus 140 on my bookie. I like that as well. Rafael, out of those two plays, is same thing. Are you a Bill fan or are you a Rodrigo fan?
I like a Bill fan. I can't go against the corner, man. So he kind of I see why he picked it. I
left something out. If I could sway your opinion, I saw in an interview that he had an injury in this layoff, and he was real bullish to talk about it. So clearly, it's still on his mind. That was another reason that kind of swayed me more towards Rodrigo. So continue. Sorry, Rafael.
We heard we were hearing it's something of a leg issue. We still haven't ironed out what's
the worst.
what his injury was. I understand that. I'm a little bit shocked that no one said the guy that wanted to be in a Jackson 5, but they left him out, Damian Jackson. I'm a little bit shocked on this one, coming out a 3-fight winning streak. On this one, I thought the line was kind of disrespectful. I thought it was going to be a lot closer for a fight. I know Sabatini flavored a month maybe coming in here, but wow, plus 190 some places. A little bit disrespected. I thought he'd be like maybe a plus 120, plus 130.
Yeah, that's true.
I thought the number was just a little bit too high.
I think Pat get that one. I really do. I think the reason, obviously, Sabatini, I think this is the toughest fight they've both had up to this point in the UFC. But I think Sabatini just has the style. He has the style to neutralize what Damon Jackson does best.
What, he has more hair? Is that what I mean? Look, Jackson's almost bald. Is that what you're saying? But I understand. I really like the way he fought Lutz. I think in November of a couple years ago, I circled him as a fighter to keep an eye out after I watched that fight. But like I said, I just think the line's just way too high. So normally I'll be rooting for Jackson. I can guarantee you Sabatini's going to be in a lot of parlays. So I'll have to be cheering for at least one dog to come in. This might be the one I might be cheering, or I might be asking for David for a job.
Hey man, piping it. We are growing. But all right, guys, 3-fight parlay. It's insane the percentages that we're hitting on these. Like Rafael says, parlays are probably the book's favorite word. But we're Elle or Ryan each week. One of you guys are nailing 3-fight parlays. Elle, take it away. What is absolutely your 3-fight parlay? UFC Vegas 60.
I'm going to start off with my underdog, Bill Algeo, in over the 2.5 rounds. You guys know how I feel about that. And then I'm going to get into what I just talked about with Pat Sabatini. I actually have Pat Sabatini in also over 2.5 rounds as my second leg. I think the style, I think it's going to be really, really difficult for Damon Jackson to end up on top of Pat in those grappling exchanges. And I think he's going to have a really hard time subbing him off his back. But Damon's tough, man. I think it'll definitely go to decision, but I'm playing the over 2.5 rounds. And then at the end of my parlay, I have Corey Sandhagen. I know we'll get into the main event later, so I won't give you too many spoilers right now, but I think that the payout on that was like almost plus 800. And I kind of toyed with adding the over 4.5 rounds to Corey Sandhagen, but I'm not so sure. that we won't see a finish in those later rounds.
Wow. Oof. All right. Yeah. Elle, I just want you to know, a wise man once told me, don't put all of your eggs in one basket. And we got best bet Billy. We got the underdog Bill Alenko. We got him in the parlay. If something doesn't happen with Bill Alenko, Grant Dawson might have to pick up another fight. So, all right, a lot of eggs in one basket. Ryan Quinn, 3-5 parlay. Take it away, my man.
I'll pick up where Elle left off. I got Corey as well. I just go over strength of schedule. Corey's just really got it favored. I really like Song Yadong. I really do. I think in order for him to win a fight like this, he needs to knock out the opponent. I don't see him doing that to a Corey Sandhagen. I'm going to play it safe and just say Corey. I'm not going to say over under because I could see him just winning decision. I could see him steamrolling. But either way, I can't see Corey losing. The next one I got, our girl, Julian Robertson, I got her winning by submission over Maria Agapova. I know both these women really well. One thing I didn't know until about 3 hours ago, I spoke to Roger Kroll. I didn't realize that she's training under him. Maria's training under him now. He's a great striking coach. He's also Amanda Nunes' coach. So that I wonder if she's training there as well. But I just know both of them really well. I feel like Maria's going to come, do what she usually try to swing for the fences in the first round. And Julian is so tough. I wish she would earn her ground game a little more with takedowns, but I'm a wrestler, but rather than pulling guard, but I think that she will submit her in the second or third round. Then the next one I got, who was it I got here? Oh yeah, Damon Jackson, Pat Sabatini. I have that one straight over. I was too coward to go one way or the other. I spoke with Damon about a month ago, and he just seems really light, and he just loves this resurgence of his career that he's got going on. And he's just added to his game as far as getting to the ground and staying there. Now, that being said, Pat is good. He's always flirting in the top ranks. But I think that Damon's tough enough to where if the fight gets really bad, he's going to chew clock with his ground game. So I could see that one going the distance. But I'm back and forth over who's going to win.
I usually toss it to Rafael right here, but if I can say that is probably the greatest 3-5 parlay in the history of the sport. One, Corey Sandhagen, I think everyone's favorite. And also, he's like minus 200. He's not like a 420 or a 360 guy. He's kind of, to me, where Robert Whittaker was 2 weeks ago. I think everyone loved Bobby Knuckles, Robert Whittaker, but he was minus 180, 200. So I like Sandhagen. I think I know it might be a little high on just straight, but I don't mind it. I think he's going to win the fight. I feel really comfortable about it. The Jackson and Pat, I like the over a lot. And then finally, Fight Bananas family, Mike Cuddles underneath our banner, Julian the Savage Robertson. We went 17 minutes without saying her name. Guys, and this is the best way. I'm a homer, and it is what it is, and at least I'm honest about it. What Agapova's weakness is Jillian's strength. And I can't see anything else. Like, that's what she's not good. Like Marina just 6-8 months ago out grappled Agapova. And, Ron, you probably know this more than I do being down there ATT. Jillian said she did what she wanted to with Marina. Like, I just think these are definitely crazy different levels on the grappling. And if they get down there, I see a sub easily, probably like you said, second round, maybe even the end of the first round. So I love Jillian here. Huge spot. Love it. Rafael, take it away.
Yeah, and I understand the love that you guys are giving everyone for Corey Sandhagen, but he's coming off bad back-to-back losses. And I've talked to many champions, UFC, Bellator, boxing. When you lose, not if you're the champ, but when you lose a fight that's a belt on the line, that's mentally drowning. Now, I agree. The Terminator needs to win this fight by a knockout. If he goes to points or if he goes to ground, it's bye-bye. If he connects, how is Sandhagen's chin going to appear after losing back-to-back fights? I understand the number. I thought this number should have been like minus 140, minus 150, minus 190. I think it's a little bit too high. I want to wait to see with the betting public. If I can get a better number in the Terminator, plus 150 or higher, I'll take that, because I've talked to De La Hoya when he lost his belt. I talked to Tyson's camp when he lost his belt. I've talked to Canelo's camp after he lost his belt. Now he's fighting this weekend, which I'll be there, Triple G Canelo trilogy and all that. Yeah. Your mind is different coming off a fight, either for a belt or you have a belt. When you lose it, that's a totally different mental aspect coming in to the ring or octagon. I'm waiting for that number. If I can get a good number on the Terminator, he will be back. He might win by a knockout.
I love it. And there's a ton of respect with all of us here But real quick, Corey Sandhagen, I gotta defend. I gotta go to the jury a little bit. One, I love that he's 30 years old. All right, to me, 30 years young. I think he's got 3 years of prime left. I don't think he's that 33, 34, and you're seeing if he's out. I love Corey Sandhagen in the next 18, 24 months, especially his last 2 losses. Like you said, 2 losses. One is to Peter Yan. Like a year ago, he was talked about for pound, and he went all 5 rounds with Peter Yan. To me, a great fight. And then the loss before that was TJ Dillashaw, a split decision loss, and the same thing. We talked a lot about judging before we hit the record button. I don't know. I watched that fight 2 times live, and then the next morning, I had Corey Sandhagen winning that fight. I don't know what else to say. That's what I have. So to me, I have him losing against, to me, one of the best fighters in the world, and Peter Yan, and then him beating TJ. Then that means, that's a 10 out of his last 12 wins, and his losses is to Aljo and to Peter Yan. And Song is not at that level. Like Yan and Sterling are the 2 best bantamweights in the world, and that's why I like Corey Sandhagen. To me, Corey Sandhagen is Colby Covington, is Robert Whittaker, is these top guys, the third guy in their division, and I love Corey Sandhagen. I rest my case.
I'm 100% on board with you, man. I was looking at Song's record as well, and I think we forget how severe Song's cardio problems have been in the past. That's what caused him to have that really controversial fight with Cheeto. That's what ended up giving him the draw against Damon instead of what should have been a really dominant win. Those were really, really close fights, and I this is 5 rounds. We've never even seen Song in 5 rounds, and he gasses hard in that third. I think every round that passes by,
I agree,
chance of winning decreases dramatically. And I think that rounds 4 and 5, it's pretty much gone because he's such an explosive guy. Talking about twitch muscles, Song Yadong is all fast twitch. Yes. All fast twitch. He's super explosive, and that takes it out of you. When you throw everything explosive and you throw all the power and everything that you've got, it's so hard to carry that for 25 minutes.
If this fight goes to the 3rd round, he's not winning it. He needs KO quick, 1 or 2. If not, he's done. Plain and simple. I mean, his body looks like mine did when I was 24, but that's a totally different story.
And Rafael, so then, okay, here it is. We're very pro MyBookie. We love MyBookie. Go to mybookie.ag. Use the promo code bananas. You can win a ton of money there at MyBookie. We're huge fans. But to me, this is where I think the books sometimes get one over on the public. And maybe I'm sorry if I'm saying this out loud, and I got to, right? If you just said exactly what a lot of the people think. So if Song's going to win this fight, he's going to win by knockout or TKO. It drives me crazy when the public just bets Song to get a win. They're like, oh, he's plus 140, 150. He's going to get a win. You have to bet him to win via knockout. Let's get to 220s and 250s and plus 300s. Why bet on him just to win? Like, you're losing value there. Am I a little onto something? I'm sorry if I'm ruining the books a little bit, but
no, not really. I think some people don't realize you can bet that. Okay. B, some people just don't want to, just go for the gusto. Let me just go for the W. I don't want to go for, oh my God, I need a KO here. That's why people don't bet their over round props. They want to enjoy the fight. They're like, oh, please. Well, they don't want to time watch the clock the whole time. 10 more seconds, I'm going to cash my bet. People just don't bet that way. It's too stressful for a lot of people. So they just play it usually safe when it comes to that. Just like adding a third. When you're making a parlay, I tell people, if you're going to do parlays, do 2 ones. When you add a 3rd, 4th, 5th, I'm laughing at you.
I love having heart attacks watching fights to get to the over 2.5. That's my favorite part of the fight.
You and my twin brother would be perfect because he bets like every Monday Night Football game over, and he says in the 3rd quarter he's drinking Pepto like it's a Crown Royal.
Last Monday night did not go well. Huge under Seattle and Denver. Ryan, we kind of went back and forth. Corey Sandhagen, you picked him part of your parlay. Yep. Are you on the same field with what I kind of said about Whittaker and Colby and just about? To me, I look at his lineup. His lineup's incredible. He's only lost to the best guys. What do you think about Sandhagen?
I feel like of all the people you just mentioned, I feel like we could probably see him get a title fight before they do. To be honest with you, I agree. Those losses were tough. I don't think he'll run into Aldo again and stuff. I think that he could put together wins. Where doesn't he have a win over Cheeto Vera?
Not Sandhagen. Song does. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, so I'm just saying, I feel like his path. We could see him fighting for a belt again. I just like those last 2 fights. Like You know, those are the kind of losses that I use on my bets for underdogs and stuff. Like, oh, you know, that doesn't really tell the tale. So yeah, no, I think that he's still up there.
Okay, I agree, guys. Woof. This was easily our longest bet in bananas in the history. 25 minutes in. So L's on Bill Elagio a lot. Best bet underdog, part of the 3-5 parlay. Both have Sandhagen. My guy Ryan Quinn has Sarah McMahon best bet in the underdog in the heavyweight division versus Tanner Boza. I like that a lot. Thinking about that about Tanner. And I know we talked about it a little bit. I don't think we talked about Julian the Savage Robertson enough. She's, like I said, she's Fight Finesse fam. She's at minus 150, 155 the last time I checked. I like that a lot. Same thing. Also, here it is, guys. I'm not betting on her just to win. I'm betting her win via sub because that's how, if she's going to win, that's how it's going to come. I don't see Julian winning a decision 29-28. I don't see that. If she's going to win, she's going to get Agapopova's neck in the second or third round. So go Jillian via submission. That's it. I'm done. Ryan, you have any trivia or Rafi, any kind of last things?
I don't. I'll bring it back next week. I promise.
Come on.
No, it's a super busy weekend. Like I said, we have UFC 60 in Vegas. We got Triple G and Canelo. We have college football, week 2 in the NFL. The Mets are getting swept by my Cubs right now, so that's a good thing for all Cub fans and watching Mets. So it's just a crazy WNBA Finals, Game 3 on Thursday. Why not just let the NBA and NHL and college basketball, one day start this week too? But let's make my plate even fuller.
What's the Triple G Canelo line right now?
It's about like minus 550, minus $6 for Canelo. I like Canelo by decision. I think. I mean, Triple G's an older fighter. I think he got exposed in his last fight. I think Canelo is pretty pissed off on this one for losing his fights.
Yeah. I do like that.
His last one. I think it was just a bad weight class. Why would you go up to fight Bivol that has power in both hands? He just looked smaller against that fight. It was a dumb weight move for Canelo. I think he bounces back. And I was at all the fights on that one. I thought Canelo lost the first one. I did have to draw the second one, but I think Canelo outclasses him and gets the big decision this time.
There we go. Look at that. We squeezed in a minute and a half of boxing. First time ever here at Bet Bananas. There we go. Guys, thank you so much. Undefeated Elle Wagman in the top left. Diagonal, the cornerman, Ryan Quinn. Go check out his content. Underneath, Rafael Esparza. Also, check out Raf on his own social media. I like how you have leans every day. I check it. I wake up in the morning, I give my kids breakfast, and then I check out Rafael's leans. That's what I do. That's my daily, run through. So there you go. That's Bet Bananas. Done. We did it.